Welcome everyone, I hope you're all having a fantastic week, and today we are going to have myself as Kislev going up against Khorne and Frederick. Now I do apologise, I'm extremely ill right now, really sore throat, bad nose, etc. I worked very hard at the weekend, 30 hours, and I'm just a little bit run down, so I apologise if the video isn't up to the usual standards. Now we are going to have Chaos Furies of Khorne in the sky, backed up by the double Fleshhounds here on the left hand side. For the main forces, we are going to have Khorne Halberds, 2 there, 1 on either flank, and 3 units of the shielded warriors of Khorne. In the backside, we are going to have the elite of the elite, the double skull crushers of Khorne, 1,800 gold of mass heavy metal. In the middle, we are going to have the Blood Reaper, here with the nice ability of the Locus of Abjuration. So negative spell resistance, and it's a bit of a training game here between me and Frederick. Ducky was doing some training alongside as well, trying to see if we can help him break down some of the box builds that Hapron bought. So the Lord choice is the Herald of Khorne. He's going to be having the Revel in Slaughter, as well as the Locus of Wrath. So loads of buffs and kind of good protection here with the Blood Reaper up against all incoming spells. So for myself, we went for a really dirty box, something that Frederick was really struggling to break down, and hopefully I can go a little bit more into it in this video. So triple of the armored Kossars, but the great weapons bringing the armor piercing to the battlefield. So they're actually going to be having 25 armor piercing per model. They can really rip down some of the heavily armored front lines. In the back, we are going to have the triple Zargard, including here the Hearth Blades. Look at those crackling blades here in the back. These bad boys, they do actually have fire resistance, and they have the ability of the Song of Winter Sunlight, so I didn't bring it there on the Patriarch. Anti-infantry, armor piercing, really good leadership and armor stats, and of course coming in at the unit rank 9, making them very powerful. In the middle, we are going to have the big, the bad, the beast of the Elemental Bear, who does have some beautiful triple breath attacks. He is going to be unbreakable with physical resistance and of course mass armor piercing and the slow. We're also going to be having Boris Urson, who's going to be an anti-large armor piercing sniper, here with the armor of Urson, as well as the heroic resilience and the abilities of the Shard Blade, Stand Your Ground, and then also the Fury of Urson. We are going to have a first hero of the Patriarch on a nice ginormous polar bear. He's going to be having the Brazier as well as the Rabbi. So coming here with the vigor and healing increases, and then also those bonuses to melee attack and defense. We're also going to be having Battle Hymn and the Lullaby, and we are going to have the Song of Winter Sunlight, as we said there, with the Tsar heroes. Now, for the secondary hero, we are going to have the Frost Maiden with Ice Magic. She's going to be bringing a few interesting ones. She's going to be having the Heart of Winter, really good here for the Blob Army, and then also Frost Blades, which actually imbues magic damage, also giving armor piercing and melee attack buffs, which is really good here up against demons, but then also very good up against heavily armored troops, increasing that armor piercing value. So we're coming forward together here, so we get a bit of a skip on if both sides come together. I'm trying to keep my formation tight, get a bit of a rotation, making sure here, as we see coming over on the right hand side, it's going to be a bit of a contingent of the Fleshhounds and the Furies. Just want to make sure that I'm kind of shaping up towards my opponent here, making sure I have a nice flat battle line, so we get some good cheeky shots down the line of the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. So these bad boys are moving forward, getting in here with the Elemental Bear. I'm going to be trying to get a breath attack off nice and early. He does have 3. It does take a minute per breath attack to get them back online. So we're going to be fighting the front line. This is where the shielded warriors of Khorne do quite nicely. The silver shield and the armor are going to be quite nice here up against the great weapons. Those pistols will do some chip damage, but not too much overall. Breath attack going to be down the line here, doing yeah, some significant damage for sure. So down to half health there already, plus extra chip damage coming from the armored Kossars. You know, really whittling down one unit, which is exactly what I wanted to do here to kind of lighten the load on the front line. In the back, we are going to have the Zargard ready to go, and we're going to keep the triple heroes and the Lord here together so we can try and fight as a blob. We do have the Skull Crushers coming around the back, and a little bit of a slow here, a little bit of a note for Frederick. We can see the front line is going to be engaging. We do actually have the heroes a little bit far behind here, and this is where you kind of want to start getting in the rear charges. You can see there's massive gaps in my force. We can get in and around and start, you know, rear charging up against the armored Kossars, and we really want to start cycle charging. We can see he's coming in now, but really want to get these units kind of hitting all at the same time and really maxing my micro and preventing me from kind of rotating units and bolstering certain elements of the battlefield. So you see in the front here, we are going to get Boris Ursus charging into the front to bolster here with the armored Kossar great weapons. Really want to hold the middle so we don't collapse there and get a just, you know, it's going to be the fastest route into the pocket. In the back, we are going to have the Frost Maiden Ice. She's going to be a little bit on her own. We do charge up against the Zargard, but they have great armor-piercing stats, so they really can get through the Skull Crushers of Khorne. In the backside here, the Furies and also the Fleshhounds going to be cycle charging through the Zargard, really trying to get some good cycle charging, get some nice chip damage over time, and really whittle down the elite infantry. Now we do have halberds chasing after the elemental bear. He's going to be fighting in the front with some good splash damage on his melee attacks, but I'll just put him out. No need for him to stay and fight here up against the halberds, and we do manage to break the weaker unit of the shielded warriors of Khorne at the front. So halberds now going to be fighting up against the armored corsairs, but the melee stats here are going to be, relatively even. Halberds, of course, are going to be having that bonus as large, whilst the armored corsairs do bring the great weapon, so it's going to be a good armor-piercing fest there. Cycle charging in the back here, coming from the Khornite warriors, and we do see here the beautiful boys just cycle charging through the Zargard, doing some great armor-piercing damage. They're also going to be anti-infantry, and also they do actually have an anti-large presence as well. So the bonus as large can be very good up against other cavalry. So they can do quite nicely here up against Boris and most of my heroes. So it's going to be a mass force over here on the backside, but we do have quite a nice thing. So here I definitely want to use a Heart of Winter, bit of a slow, do some damage up against the basically mass elite force here on the right hand side. But the Blood Reaper is really preventing me from coming in and casting the Heart of Winter. 66% negative on all of my spells is very powerful indeed. In the back, the Zargard are going to be taking quite a bit of pounding here. The cycle charging cavalry and the Fleshhounds really starting to take a bit of a toll. You can see the Zargard at now 50% HP. It's really struggling. And this is where we see a bit of a first mistake coming out of Frederick. We do actually see the isolated Blood Reapers. We see other enemies are going to be cycle charging into the back here, really trying to break the back of the box. We do break here with the armored corsairs. They are going to be using Bio Blood, so I can now kind of bolster them with the Hearth Blades, try and see if we can get into the front line and aid there. We're going to be breaking with the great weapons in the front as well, so my front line is really faltering here. The box is falling apart. On the side here, I do see a bit of a weakness. The Blood Reaper is going to be getting into the back, so I do actually have Boris and the Patriarch chasing. They can both support each other quite nicely. So we do see the activation there of the Sharp Blade, negative speed, and then of course it's going to be damage over time. So we're going to be damaging the Blood Reaper, anti-large armor piercing for Boris. He's going to get, you see big chunks here coming off the Blood Reaper. In the middle, we do have the force here kind of, focused on the elite Zargard, but they're going to hold pretty true. They have some very, very good leadership stats, and they're going to be bolstered by the Frost Maiden. And now we can see that, of course, the Blood Reaper is away. This is now free for some good magical spells. In the middle is going to be the Lord Choice. The Herald of Khorne is going to be fighting. He will be bolstering with melee attack, leadership, all sorts of things here in the middle. But we do have the big elemental bear. He's going to be swiping, doing some good damage. And we do manage here to get the Herald of Khorne down. But that's going to be countered by an overcasted Heart of Winter. That's going to be doing an extra 50% damage for 4 extra Winter of Magic. And it's really going to be doing some good damage here against the cavalry and the majority here of the infantry. The Blood Reaper is trying to get back into the pocket. He's going to be getting chased here. And you can see I've kind of taken no damage there. And I'm really putting a threat on the expensive hero. He's going to be charging in, trying to find some kind of cover here with the Skull Crushers. But at no avail. He's going to be taking quite a bit of damage. We are going to use this ability of the Locus of Abjuration. But you can see the majority of them are going to be out of the spell distance. In the middle here, we do actually have the Warriors of Khorne. They're going to be kind of breaking the pocket. We do actually manage to break off some of the Skull Crushers of Khorne. And it's going to be a bit even at the front here. We do have Zargard now fighting up against the Halberds. So Zargard should be able to finish them off with a bit of extra anti-infantry. The hero is going to get away. I don't really want them too close up against the fast Skull Crushers or anywhere near the Fleshhounds. They'll rip her to new. So we do see at the front, we are going to be using the Frost Blades, and we can see with the Frost Blades, they're going to be bolstering the attack up to 69 with magic damage, anti-infantry, and bolstering the armor piercing to really shred through the heavily armored warriors of Khorne. So they're going to be fighting at the front, which is so much melee prowess. I really want to dominate this left-hand side, rear charging for negative to leadership here with the Frost Maiden, just trying to see if I can really bolster this left-hand side and get the victory. But we are going to get a red charge with the Skull Crusher, so really good work here coming from Frederick, trying to see if he can charge and break my Hearth Blades. Over on the right hand side, still going to be pressuring here the Blood Reaper. He's going to be falling in combat, so good work there. I managed to get him down, and now it's going to be the Lord Choice on his own. He does have Fleshhounds, not particularly strong in combat, and also we do have magic damage here with the Elemental Bear, and then also Boris. Patriarch, I don't believe, is going to be having magic attack, but he's up to 90 melee attack, as we are going to be using the Battle Hymn. So we're going to be chasing after the Herald of Khorne, but of course the Polar Bear, is a bit of a clunky beast. He's going to be getting in the way here, the Patriarch, unfortunately, but Boris is going to be in there, and he's going to be doing the damage. I believe at this moment I was waiting for my second and final Shard Blade. We do get some good rear charges, and one thing that's very key for new players to learn is understanding how fast your hero is. So we can see 62 speed going up against 82 for Boris, and I think it's 75 for most Polar Bear riders. Only 48 for the Elemental Bear, but he also has the Frostbite ability. That only gets activated when you get a successful hit, but still that slow is significant. In the middle, we are going to be having these Zargard great weapons breaking down here up against the Halberds, which is one of the major threats in the army, going against my mass goon squad. But now we're going to be fighting. We do actually get the Sharp Blade down. It's going to be a negative speed, and he's going to be kind of trapped here up against these three big elements. So we're going to be fighting in the middle. He's going to be wavering. Balance of power is going to be shifting heavily into my favor. That is going to be army losses. GG's and well played. A really, really enjoyable game. So really, really well played here to Frederick, and I really wanted to touch on it to a few elements for maybe some other players that, especially newer players with Khorne, that made a couple of mistakes. We went through 3 games. This was 1 of 3. Maybe I'll show the other one as well, where he actually brought. We made some changes in the final game, where he brought some Minotaurs with great weapons to the battle, and it certainly made a humongous difference. It really taxed my micro, and then also forced me to have to make some really, really big decisions. He put some big pressure on my Frost Maiden and the Patriarch, and really, really put me. To have to struggle in the late stage of the game and really pull out a very, very good game indeed. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think Skull Crushers, especially for new players, the 1,800 gold cost, and from a vigor perspective, cavalry really do suffer on vigor very, very heavily compared to foot infantry. So you really need to get some good cycle charging. You really need to have good target isolation and make sure, because these have gone from anti-infantry to anti-large, but they've still got enough mass that they are anti-infantry really. They can charge through and certainly disrupt a lot of the formations, so they can't really hit you back. So if you get good cycle charging, you can get in there and do some fantastic armor-piercing damage. But on a vigor point of view, they get very tired very quickly, and being they're mostly melee attack, armor-piercing, and they're heavily armored. They're some of the big traits that get nerfed by vigor. And being there's no way to get vigor back here from Khorne, it's a massive downplay here on Skull Crushers, so you really need to know why you're bringing them and what you want to deal with them. So they would have been good targets for the Elemental Bear, Patriarch, the Frost Maiden, and Boris. But the Herald of Khorne, he came in at 330, 720 and 880 there for the Skull Crushers, with 306 for the Blood Reaper. 711 with also 500 there for the Halberds, 650, 650 and 230 there for the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. You can see that early breath attack. I only managed to get 1 in here. I think in the first game I managed to get 2, and I think in the final game I managed to get 2 as well. But that breath attack really does make the difference. You can see I pretty much thirded the damage output of the Warriors of Khorne here. They broke rather quickly in the early game. Really nice stuff here from the Flesh Hounds. Of course, they're incredibly powerful with physical resistance outside of magic here. There's not really too much that can come out of Kislev. Most of the heroes and lords do bring magic, but most of the infantry will suffer there. Flesh Hounds here at 475 and 99 there for the Furies. I think for the majority, what we worked out from this battle here, for most players, I think going with the great weapons, keeping them out of the line of sights here from the Armored Corsairs is certainly quite, it's certainly needed. It's certainly needed. So for myself, we got 1,900 from Boris, 1,570 for the Elemental Bear, with 503, 1,200 for the Frost Maiden, with 1.3k for the Half Blades. 870 and 1,100 for the Tsar Guard, with 460, 580 and 580 there for the Armored Corsair. Great weapons. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please smash that like button. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you'd like to see our second game where we brought some extra elements. I brought the same army, but Frederick here brought a different army, and there was a very much different game there. So maybe I'll cast that anyway, so you guys can see a bit of contrast there, and I'll link the two together. So maybe you can get some educational element out of it as well. So I've been your boy Logic. Feel free to subscribe if you have enjoyed. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all very, very soon.